I'm Gretchen Sinnett. I am an associate professor of art history at Salem State University, where I teach in the art and design department. For the last, I would say, 6 years, I've been working with the Danvers Historical Society on a service learning research project with my students in the arts in America. A shout out to Wayne Eisenhower, the former president of the society, who first invited me to bring students here to research. The exciting thing for me about the program is the Arts in America is part of our general education curriculum at Salem State, which means I get students from across the university. As you might expect, art and design students, history students, but also nursing students, criminal justice, English. So they bring a lot of different perspectives. This also means, though, that most of them don't have experience researching objects, works of art. We work together. The students all write an individual research portfolio on the object they choose, but they also collaborate on finding sources and exchanging ideas. They've been really excited about it. They really like researching objects that they feel have real-world resonance, and they like the fact that their research helps the Historical Society. So I'd like to thank the Historical Society for continuing to work with us. Also, Sheila Cook-Kaiser, who has been my collaborator at the Historical Society and has helped to pick objects, cart them back and forth to the campus so all the students can participate. So this is a 19th century fire bucket. It's an object that I had my eyes on for a couple of years when we were downstairs looking for objects in the collection. It's made of leather with metal rings holding a leather handle, and then the inside, I'll just tilt it a little bit, is likely coated with tar to make it waterproof. The fire buckets were usually made by leather workers. So in Danvers, right, where there was a big shoe industry, likely shoemakers, saddle makers would have constructed them. And so these were used basically to form bucket brigades. And this was the period before there were professional firefighting companies. Also early on, before there were volunteer fire companies that developed by the 1830s. They were usually kept at the entrance to a house, and then also there would be one by each fireplace or hearth. The idea was when there was a fire in the neighborhood, everybody went out with their bucket, either the homeowner, in some cases a servant, and helped to transport water from the source to the fire, and in some cases to a pumping mechanism. Laws were passed during this period similar to the laws we have today, where when you sell a house, you have to have the fire department come and inspect for the smoke and the carbon monoxide detectors. In some municipalities, many actually, there were laws around the number of buckets you had to have in the house, the fact that they needed to be placed by the entrance. So one of the reasons I was attracted to this bucket in particular, because the Historical Society has several in the collection, is that in addition to the text, which we'll talk about, it also had this quite fabulous painting. Most of the buckets did indeed have lettering, and that usually was the name of the person who owned the bucket. Later on, sometimes also the name of volunteer firefighting organizations. And that was so when the fire was out, the bucket could be returned to the owner. They were usually taken to a central location. It also showed who had participated in the firefighting effort. So if you repeatedly, right, your bucket doesn't show up at the fires, then perhaps your neighbors aren't going to be as enthusiastic about helping to fight a fire when it's your property that's in danger.